What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Brock, and tonight we're joined by a first-time guest, Mr. Jeff Stafford.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I am good. Like I said before, I'm channeling my inner Mill.
All right.
Hunter's Forge has a website, and we sell coffee mugs through there.
Nice.
We'll put the link below. For my clubs too. So.
Sweet. We'll put the you can give us that information. We'll include it in the description below. We'll get the link out there for you.
And our intro does say, character spotlight with Mike, with Mike, Brock, and Jeff. So, Jeff Manning can't make it, so we had to replace him with another Jeff.
I'll try to live up to the standards.
It's a very low bar.
Then I got that covered.
Oh, you're good. Nice. So recently we've wanted to start talking more about some Legends stuff, and one of your feds in particular is very popular on the Facebook group, and we just wanted to pick your brain about that a little bit.
Good old APW. It's a mixture of, well, I've always been a creative guy, so I wanted to do it legitimate wrestling with jobbers, mostly guys that are mid-card or below, and mix in my own brand to make it a Gordon Soley type feel and have homegrown commercials. So that's what I do. I make my own sponsors. I make my own commercial ads. I went to college in 2004 for radio broadcasting, so I know how to write the 30-second ads, and I do all of that. So I just kind of intertwine all that together.
Yeah, that's why we do a legend. So I'm like, let's do something we could intertwine with your promotion. So our legend is going to be SD Special Delivery Jones.
Awesome. Currently in APW.
Let me take him out of the case here.
He's your former world champion.
Yes. Now it's Rocky Kernoodle has had quite a run.
Yeah. There's Special Delivery.
Trying to get the right angle with the light here. There we go. Less glare there.
Now, with him, I remember him starting off as like a higher mid-card guy. He was a tag team. When I first saw him, he was in a tag team with Tony Atlas. That's when I first saw him. And then, because wrestling was kind of spotty, I might catch one promotion for 4 months, and then it would go off TV and be replaced by another one. And and then the next time I saw him was years later, and he's in the WWF as Special Delivery. And he'd get the odd, they'd show him get the odd win against somebody like Johnny Rods or Frankie Williams or something like that.
Yeah, he was like a low tweener.
Yeah, but then he'd lose to, everybody else.
All American Wrestling, you'd line him up against Macho Man, and you knew who was going to win before the match was ever finished.
But a lot of times, they'd give him his hope spots. He'd have his sunset flip. He'd get in there and get the 2 count and get like, oh, he almost got it.
That's the only way you can do it to make it credible you have to give spots to people, and people have to be willing to sell to you. So I only saw SD Jones because of cable television, because I was in Midwest. I was growing up in Indiana, and we finally got cable, and then all of a sudden the WWF feeds started coming in on USA and all of those. So when I saw him, he was just the guy that came in to wrestle, the guy they were pushing on the TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know too much about him other, because he was a job guy, so you never really dug much into him, and there was never really, magazines never did spotlights on those guys.
But he was always the ever popular guy.
Yep.
When they pitched him on the thing, it was like everybody knew him. The Spectrum loved him.
Yeah.
I mean,
there were a few guys who were all in your Alaskan promotion.
Yeah.
That I do remember, like SD Jones. He was a big job guy. Iron Mike Sharp, Canada's greatest athlete.
That's the one you like.
Yep.
I can't put him on every show.
And then the Mulkeys. They're the 3 jobbers that stick out. But there's also one the game doesn't have, and it's a guy, Silent Brian McNee.
Okay.
And as far as I know, he's the only deaf wrestler.
Oh,
Like, and he was so he they'd introduce him and he'd sign his name, and I'm like, for the longest time, I didn't know why they called him Silent Brian. I just thought it was a weird nickname. And then I found, oh, it's because he's deaf, and he's still around. He lives in Ontario, and I always want to meet him and talk to him, ask him, how did you? Because he was a mid card guy too, so he'd go over like, how did you figure out matches if you can't hear anybody calling?
that would be amazing.
I want to meet that guy and figure out how. But
Repetitive for me, it was repetitiveness. I worked, the guy that trained me, I worked more than anybody, and that was Calypso Jim and Bobo Brazil Jr. now, but back in WWA on TV. And when you work a guy on the circuit and it's like that guy every night, you just get that rhythm going. You don't even have to talk to each other anymore.
Yep.
It's that sort of thing. So I imagine if he wrestled, he probably wrestled a lot of the same guys. You don't have to, because once you figure out your spots, you don't make it the same every time, but you know exactly what you're going to do. There were matches at times that I didn't even have to talk in the ring. We just knew what we were doing.
yeah, I know he wrestled a bunch of different promotions. That's why I just wanted to.
He looks amazing. I'd like to see some of that. I wonder if they have any of him on YouTube or anything.
Oh yeah, he's there. You just gotta look up Silent Brian McNee.
I'm going to write that down.
But yeah, he's one of the 4 big jobbers I know and would follow. But SD was out of them was probably my favorite. He'd get the pistol thing, and he'd have his own jacket, like he'd have ring wear. Like,
Well, I had him feuding with Johnny Rods early in the Alaskan Fed. Johnny was too good to be up in Alaska. So the whole premise of my thing is, and you always ask me about getting my crowds up. If you ever see the background that I post when I do my post, there's a little shed over to the side, there's a building, and then there's a satellite thing. They're holding the matches in the shed. So the fire code only allows 10 maximum in at a time, and usually it's the people trying to get in out of the cold that are at the door first. It's kind of like that Saturday morning at TBS where they would just line up at the door. First one in, first chair, that sort of thing.
Nice. That's great.
what did you remember about him, Brock?
The infamous quickest match in WrestleMania history, WrestleMania 1 against King Kong Bundy.
WrestleMania 2.
Was it 2?
I think 2.
2.
I thought 2 was Hogan and Bundy.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah, you might be right.
Ha! I'll have to
I
look it
defer
up.
to the experts.
That's not me.
It's been 30 something years.
Almost 40.
Yeah.
I thought it was WrestleMania 1. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, because they had a couple jobbers on that card. Like
Yeah.
Buddy Rose was on there as the executioner.
Maniac Matt Bourne was on there before he was Doink. But yeah, I think that's a lot of people my age's memory of him is just that quick 9-second match at WrestleMania. That was a record that stood until 2017, I think, whenever The Rock beat Eric Rowan in 7 seconds. So, yeah, that's
How many seconds was the Bundy thing?
9, I think. Yeah. That's what they said, but I did some research, and it was actually 11 seconds. So, but they sold it as 9. But
well, under single digits is always better.
Exactly, I agree. But yeah, that was really didn't see a whole lot of them. I just remember him kind of being around in WWE as a job guy, but definitely one of those guys who well enough known that he left a mark.
He was always in every match, though. There was a spot where he was always in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because he was a mid-card guy, so he'd always get the, at least 1 or 2, a couple offensive moves, couple hope spots. Because
especially in Philadelphia in the Spectrum where he was from.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, usually if you're on your home turf, you're going to get a little more. Even if you don't get that big push,
yep,
you're going to get a little bit more.
Yeah, because they had, like I said, they'd give him the odd win. So he was a guy that, he could upset someone. So you're always like, oh, he
Yeah.
might do it. And he'd get his headbutt in, which was one of his early finishers. But
I always knew he was going to win when he faced like Pete Doherty. When they were like the opening show on All American Wrestling on Sunday morning, it was Pete Doherty versus SD Jones. You knew he was going to win.
Yeah.
That kept his legitimacy through the rest of the matches, giving him those spots.
Well, that's what they do with him. I think that's why he wasn't quite a jobber, but he was their a mid card specialist, and he knew his role and he didn't have issues. He did capture titles, in the in like the mid South type area. I think he was like a 3-time American National NWA Tag Team Champion or something like that.
He was a 3-time NWA America's Tag Champion with Pork Chop Cash once and 2 times with Tom Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say Rufusar Jones, but I think that's who Tom Jones became or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because he did a gimmick where he was Rufusar's cousin.
Okay, that's great.
Rufusar Freight Train Jones. He was his cousin. I think that's how he got his start.
And then he was also a Universal Superstars of America Tag Team Champion with Tony Atlas, which you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
I didn't know this
title. I just remember him teaming with him.
He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2019.
Wow.
Posthumous.
Cool.
Because he died in like 2006 or 2008.
2008, yeah. He had a massive stroke.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was going to be a test, so I had to dig out my SD. So.
I like the hardback top loader.
What they give him for a finisher?
Headbutt
0.
Oh, okay. Wasn't too sure because he used 2 finishers in his career.
The earlier card, the black and white, I believe, does have the 2
sunset flip.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I couldn't find mine,
but I know that the one card I thought for sure had 2 headbutt, 2 finishers. There might have been 2 headbutts, but I'm not sure.
Well, how would you book SD in a GWF promotion?
I came up with a cool gimmick for this guy.
That's rough for me because I haven't played that in 40 years, 30 years. I don't know. I'd probably team him with someone, Adam Blast or somebody, and keep it kind of those guys that just push a little bit, but kind of what he did his role in the WWF.
Part of the All Earth Squad.
Win a few, lose most against the bigger opponents. I think that's how I would use him.
I was going to bring him in as a Titan.
As a what?
As one of the Titans.
Oh, okay.
I'm bringing him in as a smuggler for hire.
Oh,
just going by special delivery. If you need something, he'll get it for you.
That's a nice hook.
And then when he eventually gets into the ring, he'll take a fall for somebody just to keep somebody safe, whatever it takes. He's a smuggler for hire, special delivery Jones.
Nice. I like it.
He's Han Solo in my GWF now.
And how would you book him in a Legends? I know Jeff's doing it right now with his Alaskan promotion.
I may move him. Right now, he's top tier in mine, but because, I have a few guys like Kernoodle and SD and Ed Boulder and Johnny Ace, which are a little bit better.
Yeah, his card's not that bad.
Upper guys. So he's a star up here.
Yeah.
His card's decent. I mean, the C and ring and death jump is pretty bad. And that's like if you roll those, you're in trouble. But other than that, he's a decent mid-card guy.
He never seems to disappoint. I've never had him do a Bundy rollover for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I first got my cards and I was just tossing them in against, Valentine or somebody like that. He never did that bam, 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 lose thing. Some do. Some bigger ones have.
Yeah, the dice. It's all a shoot. The dice roll. I think what I'd do with him is just make him the baby face tag team fill-in guy, since he's had a lot of success as a tag guy throughout his career. If somebody's partner goes down, I think I'd have SD Jones step in and help that guy out who's down a partner.
He'd be a good mentor type guy.
Yeah.
That's some younger indie guy that you'd like to push.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd bring him in and have him feud with somebody like Frogman and LeBlanc.
He'd kill Frogman.
Oh no, yeah, that's the whole thing. You want to make sure he can get a win, but then do the same thing. He'll lose down the road to another guy that's going to get a push to make him look legit, but he could still get an odd. I wouldn't say odd win, but he might get a couple pins in to make the match interesting.
Mm-hmm. Frogman's pretty weak.
Oh yeah.
I love it though. He has a couple automatic lose functions on his card. I
missed the Frogman card, so
we won't talk about it anymore then. It sucks.
I just started getting into the stuff, and now I bought everything. I'm all caught up with everybody as far as Legends goes, except the women's division. So I missed that card by, I think I didn't get the virtual.
Okay.
I got the next one after that though, so I'm on board with everything else.
Yeah, I'm very rarely able to make it to those virtual cons, but I always buy a ticket because the card's been pretty cool.
They are neat.
Plug for the online events. This podcast is not affiliated with Filsinger Games. we talk about this because we love it.
We get no kickback from them.
No kickback, no sponsorships.
No special treatment.
But if you wanted to sponsor us, we're not above taking money. Oh, sorry.
Well, you have to be pretty wacky to get on Alaskan, because we've got Buns and Guns, Ick Salvage, Murkowski's Taxidermy, that sort of thing. The Slippery Sea Lion Bar.
Yeah, the Chinese restaurant.
Oh, Fukyu's?
Yep.
Yeah, Fukyu's China House. Yeah.
For your that Alaskan wrestling, it's probably, I'd say, one of the top 3 feds I see, because people post the results, but yours has a following.
Yeah, you get a lot of interaction.
It's pretty crazy. I never let, and some people like it for the flow, because it's not just, Doherty versus Boom wins by Boom.
Yep.
I roll the match legitimately, and I do everything by the book, and then I take the high spots and I write the story to make it fit, because as we know, wrestling is a story.
Mm-hmm.
And to just go Bob Johnson pins Joe Blow in 2 minutes with a pile driver just isn't exciting to me. I like to have a little bit of the in-ring feel. I got that, Milts out there stirring things up, and occasionally the guys will come over and give him problems, especially the negative 4 horsemen. And those guys are awful, but they never win. That's why they're the negative 4 horsemen.
Yeah. And who are the members of that team?
The Mulkeys are the tag team specialists. Keith Steinborn is the enforcer. And then the all-knowledgeable one, he doesn't like to be called Sodbuster Kenny J anymore. He is Kenneth J, the encyclopedia of wrestling. So those are the negative 4 horsemen. And they don't have a James J. Dillon, but they do have a Dr. Jerry Graham Jr. from the WWA, who's their manager and their guiding light. And as far as that's went, he's the only guy that's gotten a win. So.
Nice. They're due though. They'll have their time.
Exactly. They'll get it figured out, hopefully.
It's interesting. I like because I have a fed where it's a lot of lower level guys, so I enjoy doing that.
Oh, it's neat. I rifle through boots, and I use 80%, 90% Filsinger. I'm not gonna, but there are just certain guys you got to have. You got to have a Pete Doherty. If you're doing stuff like I've got, I like the Spaceman Hickey card. I like, give me some of those oddball guys.
Yeah, you got the British guy coming in now, Dave Taylor.
David Taylor, yes. He swings a mean flag up here.
So
Nice.
I've been watching him, and he's on a win streak, and
He's definitely a guy that can get the gold at some point.
because you have 3 titles. You have your TV title, your heavyweight, and now your tag titles.
I just have a TV heavyweight and a tag. I don't have any more than that in Alaska. I just have a heavyweight TV champion and a tag TV champion.
Oh, I thought they were 2 separate. Okay.
No. So those are, and right now that's the California Dreamers, Ed Boulder and Johnny Ace, because they're both from San Francisco. They both have that same golden boy vibe. So they're the California Dreamers, and they play that awful Mamas and Papas song through the one speaker we got in the studio, and it crackles alive with that and God Save the Queen for David Taylor.
I love it.
So just to get that feel, I like that sort of thing.
No, hey,
I try to do it based on when Bruiser used to have his show on Saturday. They always ran out of time with the best match, and that drives Mike crazy. Because they'll start the match, they'll get going, and all of a sudden, because the station only allotted time from 11 to midnight, and that's sign off. So they've got to be off the air, or you're going to be seeing polar bears in the snow.
Well, see, I remember that from the early, the mid 80s, because they would always have their TV title, and it was, 30 minutes or television time remaining. And so a lot of times
Miniker had to make excuses.
It would go off the air, and you're like, "Who won?"
The only thing I do that's different is you never knew who won on Bruiser's show. They'd be showing Jimmy Valiant and Bruiser fighting away, and he goes, "We've got to go. We're out of time, folks. We'll see you next week." And next week comes nothing. So you start with the same thing, and another match you're going to get to see 10 minutes of. So I try to at least include that the cameras still roll, even though the station's cut off, so you guys get that ending the next week.
I love it.
Well, no, like I said, it's well written, and it's funny.
I'm having a blast with it because it just keeps this old brain moving around in there, coming up with ideas. And
and it's not like you have, I think there's on average about 4 matches per card.
Right. Usually 4, and the first one's sponsored exclusively by a donating sponsor, and then the main event sponsored by it. And then in interim, I just shuffle in, the weather watch and the other stuff. So kind of keeps it flowing. And Milt's the linchpin. He's a guy that came to my brain. I'm trying to I want to work with Mr. Munch.
See, I thought you named Milt after there was a ring announcer out of All-Star Wrestling named Milt DeBruskin.
Nope, Milt just came to my head, and I'm like, well, he's up in Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, which is up in godforsaken nowhere. So he had to be Wasilla's close to there. So he had to be a high school hockey legend from there who they made a sports anchor up there, because he's God. He's the Harry Carey of Prudhoe Bay. So that's where I got my impetus for him.
No, and it's pretty neat. Like you said, everybody's got some kind of background. Like, even your, fake announcer has some kind of character background.
He tries to be a lowbrow Gordon Soley too, because he likes to give his opinion, but he doesn't go to the extent that Gordon used to do. Yeah. All the technical words and the verbiage. But I love Gordon. Gordon was awesome.
I'm trying to think, do you have a talk show for that one yet, or is it just the at ringside?
Nope, he's just a ringside guy. I don't have a. I was asked by a few that wondered if I was going to do like some of these guys are doing, where they roll the cards on YouTube and stuff, but I don't think I'm ready for that quite yet. It would be hard to get voices and everything for all the idiots they got running around.
As somebody who does that, it's not always easy.
When the studio melted and the hobos and everything were squeegeeing the floor off so we could get the show started the one week. And there's always something in Alaska going on. Everyone was wondering why we didn't have a show this week, and that was because I told them last week it'd be 2 weeks till the next show because we had the caribou migration up there. You got 200 million head of caribou coming through Prudhoe Bay, and it just clogs up the streets and everything else. Plus, it was Mother's Day, so weekends. That gave me some time to cool off the jets a little bit on the show, but we'll be back this Saturday.
Excellent. We know there are people looking forward to it.
Yep.
The hardest part is keeping it fresh and keeping the new idea coming.
Well, and also, you know, you do rotate the wrestlers in and out, so it keeps things fresh. You got one of Brock's favorite wrestlers, Lord Zoltan.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently teaming with me.
All right.
My boots, Isaac the Impaler from back in the day, is Carzilla made me a boot.
Nice.
So I've got a card floating around that, and I was the first APAPW heavyweight champion. No, second. I took it from SD, and then Kernoodle took it from me. Now I'm tag teaming with Zoltan, trying to go after the California Dreamers.
Nice. Gotta love Lord Zoltan. That guy I saw wrestle at least 40, 50 times.
He's my kind of kooky.
As soon as he got it, they announced his card. I don't think I was more excited for Zoltan getting a card than Macho Man getting a card. No joke.
That is funny. There are certain guys when it's like I wish they would get a Mighty Igor card.
Mm-hmm.
That guy I only got to see him 5 or 6 times growing up, but my mom loved that guy. My mom was a Saturday afternoon bruiser wrestling junkie. He never missed a show. If they came to Fort Wayne, we always had a babysitter, and mom and dad headed to Fort Wayne.
Nice.
And my mom was a Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, and then later on, Hillbilly Jim.
Hillbilly Jim. I don't like that guy.
He freaking loved him. It was embarrassing.
That's fantastic.
You know, she'd stay up to watch Saturday night's main event, and I'd have friends over, and is Hillbilly Jim on yet?
He's a good-looking man.
She'd get excited. We're watching Saturday morning. You know, the wrestling used to be on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he'd come on, and
it was Daniel Boone.
Beat up, and she's hitting you. Look.
Yep. And she's cursing at the screen. That Baron von Raschke, I hate that guy. But it was always Daniel Boone, WWA Wrestling, roller derby. That was Mom's Saturday afternoon.
They would usually bundle roller derby back to back with wrestling here, at least in the Pittsburgh area.
Yep, they did that for us too. 1 hour of roller derby and 1 hour of NWA wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. We're spoiled now because it's wrestling out, 24/7. You can get it anywhere. You can acquire it anywhere. You weren't waiting until next week to sit in front of that tube and with the rabbit ears and the aluminum foil. Hoping the channel came in that day decent so you could see everything.
Mm-hmm. Good
now
stuff.
I'm dating myself.
We can probably wrap this up here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us. This was a great time. We'd like to have you
me
back. Oh, absolutely.
Anytime. This is fun.
We enjoyed having you, and great to talk to you. I'm glad we finally got to talk.
Yeah, it'd been a while. I thought, wait a minute, they don't want me no more.
Or just it was bad timing. We can talk later, but
awesome.
It was 100% my fault. I'll take the blame
thanks
for
for
it.
having me. I mean, this has just been fun. And tune in to Alaskan Public Access Pro Wrestling,
which you can find on the Filsinger Games Facebook group.
There you go.
Anything else you'd like to plug?
Huh?
Anything else you'd want to plug?
Great North Wrestling, my other promotion, which is a more serious one that I have out there, is got 8 to 10 followers going every day, every week on it, or I have several cards a week for it. So that's my main one. Currently, the champions are Johnny Valentine, Angelo Mosca is the interstate champion, and the tag team champions are the Road Warriors. But I got my big Memorial Day thing coming up here. So.
Cool.
where the Road Warriors will be facing the Russians, Ivan and Nikita.
Nice. Something to look forward to, folks. Awesome. So if you have not yet, please click the subscribe button, which is right below Jeff, I think. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And while you're here, please scroll on down to the description where you'll find other links to Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast, Roll Up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Lee Longpre's Dizzy Dice, the Filsinger Games fan cast by Grant. And then over on YouTube, you have Solo Promoter, also from Grant, Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling. And then you have After Further Review. And then scroll down a little bit further, you'll find my Twitch channel. I stream a bootleg fed every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Check that out if you have time. And if you have any Filsinger Games related content you'd like us to share, please send one of us a message. We'd be happy to include it in the description below so we can get the word out for your content.
Yep. And we're 2 subscribers away from our goal of 123.
What? Maybe by the time this airs, we will have made it to the big time of 123.
I'm a subscriber already, or I would subscribe today. So.
See, Jeff's done it. And if Jeff did it, you should do it too.
And if Jeff can figure it out.
There you go. Even at my advanced age, I can.
No, Jeff, you don't give yourself enough credit. Trust me. We've had a lot of people on this show. Yours was smooth. You got right on, no problems. You were there. I think you were on before me, so
that's all to my wife because I'm a dinosaur when it comes to this stuff.
It's all good.
All right.
Thanks again, Jeff. We appreciate you.
Yep.
We'll have
Thank
you back.
For having me.
Oh, absolutely. It was a great time. All right, everybody.
All right, everyone.
Take care.